On October 31st, 1983, professional football bid farewell to its founding father. At the age of 88, George Stanley Halas passed away. For over 60 years, Coach Halas and the National Football League were one and the same. Halas was one of the game's first players, and his many coaching innovations kept pro football moving forward. But it was Halas's fiery spirit that sparked the Chicago Bears, as no other team so clearly reflected the personality of its head coach. The Bears were the monsters of the Midwest, and they wore their nickname like a badge of honor. In his 40 years as the Bears' head coach, Halas taught some of the greatest players the game has ever known, and he won a record 8 NFL championships. But more significantly, Papa Bear Halas left his spirit in the game he loved, and he left his love in the men he touched.
He's a very, very warm person. And you can't help but like George Halas. I love George Halas.
Just being a part of the growth of the National Football League, that to me is the greatest thrill or event in my life.
The 1983 Chicago Bears played with the kind of spirit and style that would have made Halas proud. The Bears lost 7 of their first 10 games, but they never lost their heart. By winning 5 of its last 6 games, Chicago finished strong. The Chicago Bears, a team possessing a proud past as they move toward a promising future.
Receiver number 84 from Ohio State.
On opening day of the 1983 season, the Bears were poised and ready. And with the opening kick, they took off. In a tough physical game, Chicago stifled Atlanta's William Andrews, then unleashed its own ground game as Walter Payton pounded the Falcon defense. The Bears moved the ball with mid-season form, and Jim McMahon's touchdown pass to Ken Marjoram helped Chicago take a 17-13 lead into the final quarter. But Chicago had not won an opening day game since 1979, and it soon became apparent the streak would continue. Atlanta's fourth quarter touchdown beat Chicago 20-17, and once again the playoff race had begun with the Bears still in the starting gate. Even in the weeks to follow, Chicago was unable to get a grip on a winning formula. The Bears would come close, then ultimately beat themselves. By posting a 3-7 record after 10 weeks, Chicago's playoff hopes had been all but extinguished. Despite their gloomy record, the Bears found a ray of sunshine in rookie wide receiver Willie Gault. Gault lived up to his world-class sprinter's reputation by out-racing defenders, first to the ball, then to the end zone. Unlike most sprinters, Gault possesses hands that are as soft as his feet are swift. Gault scored 8 touchdowns in 1983 and earned a spot on the NFL All-Rookie team along with offensive tackle Jimbo Covert. Covert's hard-nosed style of play was typical of the Bears' offensive line, which also included Jay Hilgenberg, Keith Van Horn, Andy Frederick, Kurt Becker, Noah Jackson, and Rob Fader. Most offensive lines succeed with brawn rather than brain. However, last season, Chicago's blocking behemoths outsmarted as well as outmuscled their opponents to help the Bears become the #1 rushing team in pro football. The special teams were also an aggressive unit. Unfortunately, they lacked consistency in 1983. More efforts like that of punt returner Dennis McKinnon are essential if the Bears hope to achieve their championship aspirations. Chicago's focus on first begins with head coach Mike Ditka. Ditka knows what it's like to be a winner. He's a no-nonsense leader with an aggressive approach to the game, and his qualities are shaping the character of this young Bear team.
Mike Ditka brought in a great attitude when he came to the Chicago Bears. You know, he's never been, I think, in a losing situation. When he played here with the Bears, they won the title, and he's been with Dallas, and they've consistently in the playoffs. So he's not used to being a loser, and I think he's conveyed that to his ball club and my teammates.
Everyone knows that Mike's committed to a winner, and that's really good for a player to know, because when you know a coach is committed to a winner, that's going to make you play that much harder.
In Week 11 against the Eagles, the Bears proved they were fed up with playing hard but losing. While George Halas was gone, his intensity and competitive drive remained and began to surface in every member of the Chicago Bears.
Man with the first call of the second period. Give to Zooey. Bootleg. Oh, bootleg it is. He drops back to throw. He's looking for it. Oh, long pass to McKinnon. He's got it for the touchdown. That's sensational. Fadeaway pitch. Roll off to the left now. McMahon looks into the end zone. Throws it there deep. A diving pass for the touchdown in beforehand. 9 yards deep in the end zone. They lined up with a wing on either side. Nobody.
Chicago's 17-14 win began a surge that rekindled Bears fans' interest in their team. A pro football team often reflects its city's character, and in Chicago, the work ethic prevails. The Bear defense, true to the image of a city with big shoulders, rolls up its sleeves and puts in a full day's work on Sunday. Like the monsters of the midway before them, Chicago defenders are a punishing, prowling band of tacklers. The Bears notched a team record 51 sacks in 1983, and the rush began with linemen Mike Hardenstein, Steve McMichael, Dan Hampton, Al Harris, Jim Osborne, Tyrone Keyes, and Richard Dent. McMichael, number 76, recorded 8 sacks, while Hardenstein, number 73, led the team with 12. Chicago's improved pass rush took some of the pressure off a Bears secondary thinned by injury. Rookies Dave Dorson and Mike Richardson learned their pass defense through on-the-job training, while number 21 Leslie Frazier's 3 years of experience helped him teach opposing quarterbacks a few lessons. While Frazier's team-high 7 interceptions exemplified defensive finesse, the force was provided by Terry Schmidt, Gary Fenzik, and Todd Bell, number 25. Bell was Chicago's second leading tackler behind linebacker Mike Singletary. Singletary, number 50, stopped so many runs at the line of scrimmage that it was like having an extra down line. A Pro Bowl selection in 1983, Singletary is continuing the Bears' tradition of great middle linebackers. Having won 2 consecutive games for the first time all season, the Bears were eager to continue their winning ways in Week 13 against San Francisco. The 49ers' offense, always capable of exploding, was defused by a fierce Bears pass rush. San Francisco, on its way to winning the NFC West, found the journey through Chicago a most unpleasant one. The Bear defense held the 49ers to a mere 3 points, San Francisco's lowest scoring output of the entire season. Offensively, Jim McMahon led the way with one of his finest performances of the year. McMahon led all rushers, gaining 74 yards on 9 carries. But it was his accurate arm that downed the 49ers. He completed 11 of 19 passes, and his second quarter touchdown pass to Dennis McKinnon was the only score Chicago needed.
Deuce backfield. Balanced offense, wide receiver either side. McMahon rolls to his right, pumps deep, pitch and go. Fires down the right side. He's got his man open, and it's going to be a touchdown. McKinnon on a stop and go.
With a 13-3 victory, their 3rd straight, the Bears had now taken on the face of a winner. Helping to model the Bears' new look was quarterback Jim McMahon. As he had demonstrated during his rookie season, the Bears signal caller continued to prove that his strong arm and cool head could get him out of almost any jam. A fine athlete, McMahon also has a handle on the other intangible skills necessary to become a great quarterback.
I feel my strengths as a quarterback is my leadership and knowing the game as well as I think I know it. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I think I understand the game well enough, to relate that to my players and to the coaching staff.
While the ability to communicate is essential, McMahon still let his actions do most of his talking. Under number 9's guidance, Chicago gained more yardage than any other team in Bear history. Teaming with McMahon to give Chicago plenty of get up and go were wide receivers number 82, Ken Marjoram, Brian Bashnagel, Dennis McKinnon, and Willie Gump, as well as tight ends Pat Dunsmore, Jay Saldy, and Emery Moorhead, number 87. The wide-open Bear offense also found success in its unpredictability. A convincing run fake helped Matsui throw a touchdown pass to Walter Payton. However, the hard-running fullback was more at home, bullying his way toward the end zone with the ball clutched tight to his belt. Suey's 49 catches and nearly 700 yards rushing made him the perfect performer in the Bears' versatile attack. No one in the NFL can bring a crowd to its feet like Walter Payton. Sweetness is a one-man show in a team sport, and he helped the Bears lead the league in rushing.
As a runner, Walter Payton is different. He's not like Dorsett was. He's not like O.J. He's not like Jim Brown. Walter is movement and energy. He's motion. He's excitement. I mean, he is strong, and he is fast, and he's powerful.
Payton, who rushed for over 1,400 yards in 1983, needs only 688 more to become the leading rusher in National Football League history.
After I hand Walter the ball, some of the runs he makes are incredible just to get back to the line of scrimmage. I don't think one man can bring him down in this league. He runs hard and he runs with authority, and if a defensive back comes up to hit him, he's going to punish him more than a defensive back hurts him.
My coach always told me, instead of taking it, try to dish it out, because once you have that ball, you have the shoulder pads on, you have the helmet, and you got your speed up. Why slow it down? Once I get my shoulders turned upfield, it's hard for anybody to stop me before I get maybe 3 or 4 yards.
As a runner, Payton takes neither detours nor prisoners, and he has earned the reputation as the most complete player in the game today.
He runs, he blocks, he passes, he can kick, he does anything you ask. Walter can throw the football probably as far as anybody on the football team. We use him because he's such a threat. When he gets the football in his hands, people have to come to him. And if they force quick, they usually leave something behind them open.
If there's a Superman in pro football, he wears number 34 and can be seen flying around Soldier Field in Chicago.
When he gets the football in his hands, people have to come to him. And if they force quick, they usually leave something behind them open.
If there's a Superman in pro football, he wears number 34 and can be seen flying around Soldier Field in Chicago. In 1983, Payton ran for 6 touchdowns, caught 2, and passed for yet another 3, while gaining over 2,000 yards of total offense.
It's like somebody once said that when the good Lord was going to make a halfback, he just chiseled a certain type of body and he gave it to Walter Payton. And I mean no offense to any of the great players who have ever played the game, but I think he's the most complete football player that I've ever seen, and maybe that's ever played the game of football.
Bear fans have long endured Chicago's bitter cold winter Sundays. The final game of the 1983 season was such a day. The winds off the lake, as well as memories of latter-day December duels with the Packers, increased the chill in Soldier Field.
Play action fake, deep drop by McMahon. Going for an all, down the middle to go. He's there for the touchdown. Will he go?
Warmed by the electricity of an early score, the Chicago defense set out to put Packer playoff hopes in the deep freeze. The Bears iced Green Bay's offense with 4 sacks and 7 turnovers. Offensively, Jim McMahon shrugged off the cold and the Packer defense, running for 1 touchdown and passing for 2 more to give Chicago a 20-14 lead.
Slot to the left. Yep. To a play action fake. There's a pass down the right side. Touchdown! Chicago Bears! McKinnon outraced the quarterback for the end zone. They were sucked.
Green Bay battled back and scored to go ahead late in the game. But with only 10 seconds remaining, Chicago still had 1 more chance.
It all comes down to Bob Thomas. Chance for Bob to be a hero and end the season on a very high note.
Here's a snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. It's good! 10 seconds to go. The Bears have taken a 23-21 lead over Green Bay.
The 23-21 win gave the Bears 5 victories in their final 6 games, as these boys of autumn had suddenly become the men of winter. Such triumphs will always rekindle fond memories of yesterday, and of a man who is gone but will never be forgotten. George Halas has not abandoned the Chicago Bears, for his spirit will forever be present in every member of the team he built, coached, and made legendary. The Chicago Bears, a team with a proud past and a promising future.